Hello and welcome back to our final part of our Renew series. We've talked a lot about remembering, refocusing, and last week we talked about restarting and resetting. This week we're going to close the entire series out with this last word that we're going to cover, which is revelation. And when we refer to revelation in the biblical sense, what we're talking about is we're actually talking about looking forward. And one of my favorite movies of all time that kind of plays a big part in moving forward is a movie titled Meet the Robinsons. If you haven't watched it, I encourage you to. But this movie is based around one saying, and that one saying is, keep moving forward. And with this series coming to a close, as we reflect on being renewed in Jesus, we now have to keep moving forward into what God has for us. So we look forward to what God is going to do in our lives. We look forward to how God is going to use us. Because see, you have to understand, God used so many people all throughout the Bible as we read it. In every story, God uses people. In every Bible story, God uses somebody to change the outcome of a situation. And God will use you in both good and bad times to change others. So in the same way God uses us, we have to look forward to how God is going to change us. See, because just in the same way, God changed people all throughout the Bible as well. And a great example of this is if you look at the man Saul, who eventually would be known as Paul, and we look at Simon, who eventually becomes Peter. See, Saul's this man who hated Christians, he persecuted them and even killed them. But he was changed by Jesus in Acts chapter 9 and became one of the biggest early church pillars and was responsible for half of the writings in the New Testament. Then the other side, we got Peter, who was just, I feel like we relate to in today's society a whole lot more. He was just super wild. He was a fisherman, he had a potty mouth, and he had no problem telling you off or even cutting off your ear if the moment called for it. But God changed him and used him big time as a leader of the early church. And then in the same way that God uses us and he changes us, we got to look forward to how God's going to elevate us. Now see, when we look at elevate, what we're talking about is an elevation in a position or anything like that. In a biblical sense, let me give you this. King David, he was a shepherd boy who eventually became the king of Israel. Because see, how this worked was David was faithful in the small things and trusted to him. So God elevated him to a king and trusted him with even bigger responsibilities. And all of these things, they're the same for us as well. We keep moving to all these different things that God is going to do because of the plan and the purpose that he has for us, to use us, to change us, and elevate us, all to renew others. And the whole goal of this is not to only renew yourself, but also help renew others. And the Bible tells us in Esther that we are chosen. We're chosen for a time such as this. And we are chosen to not only change ourselves, but we are chosen to renew the world one person, one soul at a time. Hope you have a great week.